Alright, folks, here we go here today. Start of the race.
Folks, here we go.
Yep, okay, so the start of the race is going to be coming up right here. King Jackson, how's it going? Glad you could make it here this morning. Go bowling at the Glen.com 400. This is going to be a fun race. We're going to be using the steering wheel here for this one today. As well, we are going to be qualifying here before the race. We'll show qualifying, session qualifying as usual for the road courses, and let's just hop right into it. Again, coming into the race here with a pretty big points lead. Alright. See what Watkins Glen's going to bring us. Try to put 2 quick laps down here in qualifying before we try to just advance into the following round. Yeah, thanks, man. Yeah, I like to do the full races. Gives a more realistic feel, especially when I try to do the live commentary. But this Watkins Glen race is probably going to go by pretty quick. It's only 90 laps, so probably going to be one of the quicker races on the season. Our quickest race we've done so far this year was the Coke Zero 400 at Daytona. That was only 1 hour and 51 minutes, so we'll just have to see if this one will be shorter in length than that. Be a very good chance it could be. Not a bad warm-up lap there. We're going to roll right into our actual timed lap this time. It all starts down in turn 1 here. This hard right-hander 90-degree corner. Carrying so much speed down the longest straightaway of the racetrack into the sharpest corner. Outside of the bus stop, really, but didn't get through the carousel perfect. It wasn't that bad, though. Got through the bus stop pretty well on the chicane. Oh boy, a little wide through turn 6. It does seem like usually when I race at Watkins Glen, turn 6 and 7 probably the two, not necessarily hardest corners for me, but the 2 corners that I'm not as fast in compared to everybody else. And then turn 1 is kind of iffy when it comes to that. If I hit my marks perfectly, which it wasn't that perfect there, I'm alright. So we're not doing too terribly to start here. Wasn't that happy with lap 1, despite it was a 108.865, which is a pretty good lap around Watkins Glen, but see if lap 2 will be any better. So far it's kind of hard to tell. Looks pretty equal how we ran lap 1. A little wide through turn 5. That's going to cost us a lot of time. I think lap 1's going to be quicker. To Benedetto, 107.744. Yeah, we messed up turn 6 again, too. So I think our first lap is going to be our quickest. I'd be very, very shocked that lap 2 is going to be quicker at the line. We'll advance on into the final round. I would have to imagine, I think a 108.865 is good enough. Yep, 7th. So we'll go to round number 2. We'll run the entirety of the 10 minutes there. Yeah, King Jackson, thanks, man. It's been kind of a quick journey, you know, in a sense, but yep, definitely remember you being around since towards the beginning. So here we go. Just gonna hop right on into this round number 2. See how many laps we can get in here, and let's see if we could set the quick time. Of course, at Sonoma, that was the first and only track this season where we had gotten the pole And we did get the win that day. So knowing that I'm pretty good on the road courses, let's see if we can get our second pole of the season here at Watkins Glen. Track position going to be key here. Definitely want to qualify as well as we can. Less cars we're going to have to pass. The first two stages are going to fly by. I think they're only going to be 20 laps each. Oh, we messed up the bus stop there that time, but luckily it's just a warm-up lap. Don't have to worry about it. So we're going to have less than 9 minutes left in round number 2 by the time we get Yep, I do play on PS4. Alright, here we go. We're going to start this second and final round here of knockout qualifying. Ooh, dove it into turn 1 a little too sharp, but we actually were able to stick the corner that time pretty well. So we're off to a good start on the lap, but knowing that DiBenedetto had the fast time of the 107.865, we know we're definitely going to have to pick up the pace here compared to what we ran in round 1. If we're going to want any sort of shot at the pole. And it wasn't clean getting through the bus stop. It might have looked clean, but I know I can get through there a little bit better. Alright, we got 3 people watching here already. We haven't even started the race yet, so that's pretty nice. You guys are just making it in time. As you see up there on the timer, we got about 7.5 into the race. 108.571, so that was faster than any lap that we had ran in the first round. That 118 isn't an actual lap time there by McMurray. He must have started on pit road with his lap, so he's trying to make his way around now. The good thing in round 1, we didn't have to worry about any traffic, and so far here in round 2, there's nobody around us as well. So we're first one on. Never had to worry about another car. I know I could stick these corners a little bit better, though, than what I'm doing right now. Hopefully we can get it down before the race. So McMurray now 108.189. So McMurray actually might have... No, he would be behind us, technically, but... Pretty good through turn 7 that time. Let's see at the line if we picked up the pace on lap 2. No, we did not. I don't know. It feels like I'm putting down good lap times, but it does seriously feel like something's missing for my speed as usual, or what I would usually have. See if we can nail the bus stop as perfect as I possibly can. I think that's going to make up a huge difference here. A little bit better. Didn't bounce around as much on the curbs that time. Really got it to stick through turn 5 as well. I think this has the chances to get in the 107s this lap if we can hit turn 6 and 7. Alright, got through turn 6 pretty well. One more corner to go. Oh, running it out wide, able to stay in the gas. This is going to be a quick lap at the line. 107.974, that's the quick time with about 5 minutes to go in this round. I knew it was going to be close to the 107s. So as of right now, we got the quick time. Now remember, DiBenedetto's first round qualifying time, currently he started with a 109.044, but his quick time in round 1 was about 1/10 of a second quicker than the lap we just posted here in round 2. So we're going to actually bring it onto pit road this time. We'll put 4 fresh Goodyears on it and we'll go back out hopefully for another 2 laps or so. Although there's not much tire wear on the car to run a quick time. Or a quicker time, we're going to need some fresh tires. Now that 108.189 is only about 0.2 of a second off of what we're currently running here. So we'll try to bring it onto pit road. And make sure we don't speed. 40 miles an hour. Easily getting onto pit road. Probably could have went a little bit faster in. So here we go. Yeah, username is just Keegan Schneider, no spaces. If I'm ever on while I'm not streaming or making a video. Alright. So 15.3 second pit stop here is going to be our estimated time, so that's actually not too bad. We had no damage to repair, so that's going to make this time a little bit faster as well. Let's get it back out onto the racetrack now. Oh boy. Gotta be careful there. Alright, we're gonna pull up onto the track in front of somebody here as we try to get up to speed through the carousel. Up this steep hill. So 107.974 is still the quick time as we stand. So coming off of a win in a pretty weird and awkward race at Pocono yesterday, Jimmy Johnson, if we look at the playoff bubble coming into today, is 20 points behind Eric Almirola, but he was 30 points behind going into Pocono. So he had a pretty solid run there, gained 10 points on him. And after today's race, we have 4 more races before the playoffs. So that'll be interesting to see how that is going to go going forward. So here is our first lap after coming off of pit road. Ooh, we're going to get through the carousel perfect this time. Probably better than what we have any other qualifying laps so far. That's going to gain a ton of time. Problem's going to be we got Kyle Larson coming up. Hopefully he lets us go into the bus stop. He did, but it's a sharper angle getting in. I think that's going to cost us a little bit of time. Kind of a bad spot to catch Kyle Larson there. At least we got around him without much trouble, but I think that's just enough to cost us any sort of time. But we only have a minute and a half left to qualifying. It'll be close to see. Oh, we're going to blow turn 6 big time here. Could not get the car wound up or wound down in time. So we're going to be able to run 2 more laps, it looks like, at the line. Should be able to run 2 more laps. Rolling it pretty decent through turn 1. So we ran 3 laps the first time around. It looks like we're going to get 3 laps in this time around on this set of tires. So we'll see. Pretty good through the bus stop that lap. Hopefully we can get to and pass Almirola this lap and not have to worry about him on the next lap. Oh, a little wide into the wall slightly. Not heavily, but enough to just break the time a little bit more. That's the second lap in a row. We came off really wide off of turn 5. Back to the start-finish line. We'll have 1 more lap to run here in qualifying as the timer is winding down. Is anyone behind us going to be able to start another lap? I think Kyle Larson is going to get to the line in time, but that's going to be it as far as the cars behind us. So will that time stand with everybody else still on the track? Again, Larson will be the final driver to get a lap in qualifying. But we know we're definitely faster than him. DiBenedetto slowed his pace down big time by about a second and a half or so from round one. We're going to catch Almirola here in the bus stop. Yeah, we had to brake a little early. I didn't want to run into the back of him, and that is going to cost our time here on lap 3. So the 107.974 is going to be the lap time that's going to stand. Almirola is not going to beat the quick time here. We look on the track map, there is still a couple more cars crossing the line right now that might have a shot to beat us. It's like we're racing with Almirola here in qualifying, but here we go. The lap time is going to stand on the pole for the second time this season, as long as Kyle Larson's lap behind us won't be quick enough, but I don't think it will. No, we are on the pole. 107.974. We sweep the pole through the first two qualifying, or through the first two road courses this season in qualifying, so that is awesome right there. Gotcha. Yeah, you can ask away about the NASCAR Heat games. I played all 4 of them. Alright, so we're going to be on the pole. We're going to have a fast car again here today. Not sure how to compare this to our Sonoma car. I think if we hit our marks, we'll probably be in the 108 to 109 range most of the race. It's going to be hard to run, obviously, our qualifying time of a 107.974. Quite honestly, I don't remember ever running quite that fast with the steering wheel here, so we've definitely got our, I guess, stuff together here. Oh, Matt DiBenedetto, tough break. He would have qualified in the 5th spot. He was fast in round 1. He fails pre-race inspection. He starts at the rear. And Ty Dillon looking a little bit slow today, so DiBenedetto with a tough break to start here. At least he's already in the playoffs with the win at Martinsville this season. The green flag is in the air. 90 laps at Watkins Glen will be underway. 20 laps in the opening stage. Accidentally went down to first gear into turn 1. Jamie McMurray with a great qualifying effort in second. Maybe he's going to be the other guy we're going to have to beat today. Who knows? But obviously a good jump on the restart to get the clean air out in front of the field, and we are off and running at the Glen here this morning. This race started about 10:30 Eastern Standard Time then. Oh, about blew the bus stop there. That was a close one. So it's all about hitting the marks as much as you possibly can around the 7-turn road course. Only 7 turns, not many for most road course standards, but obviously it's a lot longer in length and a lot higher speed than most road courses are. Definitely the highest speed road course track in the Cup Series, that is for sure. We're going to lead the opening lap of the race here, already almost a second ahead of Jamie McMurray. Definitely got to keep the car on the track as much as we possibly can today. It's good to run off and wide a little bit using all the access road on the racetrack like we did through turn 1 there, and maybe even through turn 6, 5 at times. I mean, it's there for a reason. That's why it's paved. But we got to make sure, just like Sonoma, we get no penalties. That was a huge break for us at Sonoma, is that we did not get a single penalty in that race for missing the course. And that is why we ended up getting the victory that day, because it was a close battle between DiBenedetto and Harvick in the late stages. We can pull away in the early going here. I think that's going to make it a lot more comfortable of an opening run to this race. Of course, we will catch lap traffic at some point in time here today. As usual, relaxed yellows are on for the road course events. A little too wide through turn 1, but again, we got a big enough lead. It's not going to cost us much time either. We got back to the gas pretty well for the most part. So consistently holding about a 2-second lead early in the going here on McMurray. Obviously, DiBenedetto is going to have a fast car, but starting at the rear of the field is going to hurt him quite a bit. He finished third in Sonoma earlier this year and had a shot to win it late. Stick turn 6. If we've got a kryptonite on any of these turns around this racetrack here at Watkins Glen, it's going to be turn 6. We had a little mistake off of turn 7 as well, brushed the wall, but it doesn't look like we really have any damage. Hardly at all. Got a little lucky there. Again, just got to take care of the car. As most road courses, pretty tight to get around. This one's very unique. That's about as good as we've rolled through the bus stop. Pretty much not only in the early going of this race, but even in qualifying a little bit ago. I don't think we got through the bus stop that well. This is going to be a very quick lap time at the line this time. So our fastest lap ever at Watkins Glen's a 107.043. We ran a 107.943 in qualifying. So that is definitely going to be tough to beat. It's going to be a good lap here. Yeah, fastest lap of our first 4 in this race, 108.210. It's going to be tough to get the 107s once you get into the race trim and you get more laps on your tires, because already we've got 4 laps on our tires now, and the most we had in any of our qualifying runs was 3. So it's going to be interesting to see how we take care of those throughout the course of the race today. Alex Bowman's up to the 2nd spot now. McMurray back to 3rd. Brad Keselowski, not a great road course racer, but he has ran pretty well in the past at Watkins Glen and does have a win in his career here. He's in 4th place, but he's about 10 seconds off the lead early on. Again, I think it's going to depend on how Matt DiBenedetto works his way through the field. I think he's got a very, very good car and a good possibility that he could be the 2nd fastest driver, if not the fastest driver, during the course of this race today. Fuel's going to make it to the end of stages 1 and 2. Shouldn't have to make a stop at all. So it's literally going to be based off of us hitting our marks here. We did not do a great job through turn 1 that time, but that's all right. Alex Bowman is closing the gap a little bit, though. Remember, he was 3 seconds off the lead when he had taken the 2nd spot for McMurray, and that was about 2 seconds off the lead a lap and a half later. I think a lot of that is because we kind of dove in a little too deep into turn 1, and that cost us quite a bit of time. But again, our best part of this racetrack is that the bus stop chicane. As soon as you get out of the carousel, down the 2nd longest straightaway of the racetrack, that is going to be the best part for us to gain any time on anybody throughout the course of this race today. Really got to start hitting turn 6 a lot better, though. I mean, we struggle on that most of qualifying. We hit it perfectly every now and then. I don't think we've had one perfect lap through turn 6 at all yet in the early going of this race. So Bowman is definitely running us down now, about a 1.5 seconds off the lead. He might even have a faster car. Race trim here's a longer run carries on. Not sure exactly where he started for this race today, but I know he had to pass at least a few cars. And now Ryan Newman up to 4th. Getting around Keselowski. Remember, Newman was only plus 33 coming into this race today, so although he is not quite the last guy in on points, you never know if you get a guy like J.B. McMurray to win the race today, if he can will his way to win. He's obviously running inside the top 3 in the early going here. He qualified 2nd. McMurray can maybe steal a win and get into the playoffs. That would knock out Almirola, and that would create a tighter gap between Almirola and Newman than what Almirola and Johnson are at today. So again, we'll have to keep an eye on how the points battle is there, as once again, Alex Bowman is just running us down at this point in the race, as we'll alternate through the cameras for the first time here today. Ran a little higher through turn 1 there, but we actually got it to stick pretty well. But Alex Bowman is catching us big time, and Bowman, although it looked like the very beginning of the race we were going to just blow away from everybody, Bowman has reeled us in from the second spot, and he is within a half second. We'll probably pull him a little bit into the bus stop here, but and already you can see the lap cars up ahead as we are in the very early going of this race. That's just amazing to me that we're not even to lap 10 yet. We're about to catch lap traffic probably next lap if I had to guess. Very good corner to turn 5 there. So we stay almost a second ahead. McMurray all the way in third. He is already 9.5 seconds back as me and Bowman just in a league of our own here in this one. Of course, Bowman has not won a race yet on the season. Not sure exactly where he's at in points. I think he's looking good, but you never know. Plus, he would like more playoff points, of course, going into the postseason if he can help it. As he closes the gap again through turn 7. On down into turn 1, going to kind of tuck it in pretty well. Bowman was right around the curbing on the inside. He ran a little bit lower than us, but there wasn't enough room for him to get underneath us that time. Ooh, we had to check up just a little bit there through the carousel. We still somehow slipped away. He must have not gotten into the gas soon enough through turn 1 or something. So we're going to catch lap traffic now for the first time in this race. We're only on lap number 9 on a road course. Ty Dillon, Brendan Gaughan at the rear of the field here as we try to get around Dillon. Lap cars are so tough to pass on these road courses. You really got to have the perfect timing to get around them on the straightaways if at all possible. Did a good job getting through Ty Dillon and Brendan Gaughan there at the start, though. We got a little bit of a gap before we catch another lap car, so that's nice. Try to break whatever draft Bowman's got on us, of course. So, a little bit of a wheel spin getting into turn 1. Got it to stick still. Might have downshifted to second just a hair too soon when we were on the brakes. It's kind of hard to tell the wiggle with the camera angle that we have right now, but there definitely was a little bit of a wiggle getting into turn number 1. Now into the bus stop once again. A lot heavier lap traffic here. We got 3 cars now all grouped right together in front of us. Ooh, I had to get on the brakes early there. Tyler Reddick, Joey Gase, BJ McLeod in the mix. Bowman trying to catch us again. We try to clear these guys. We got through them about as perfect as we possibly could have. In the middle of turn 5, and we cleared them all before we got into turn 6, and that was probably the best we've stuck turn 6 in this race so far today as well. Whoa, back into the gas a little too soon in 7 though. A little bit of a hiccup there. 10 laps to go now in stage 1. We're already halfway through the first stage. We just started this race 10 minutes ago. I'm telling you, this race is going to fly by compared to normal. I can very easily see this race being done in about an hour and a half or so. I remember when I was here in real life last season, it was the quickest race I'd ever seen live. Oh, that got tight with Ryan Preece. We were just able to clear him, though. Really sent it into the bus stop to get around him as quick as we could. But yeah, I was here last season. It was by far the quickest race I'd ever seen in person. It just flew by. I think it was over in like 2 hours and 16 minutes or something like that. It was crazy how fast it was. There was only 3 cautions per incident. But bumper to bumper. Nice little battle off that last restart too. So they touched going through the carousel. But it was a pretty cool experience. It's the first road course race I'd ever been to. Holden Mason, how's it going? Thanks, man. I'm doing pretty good. Glad you can make it for the live stream here today. Yeah, Bowman had a lot of troubles getting through that lap traffic. He's now 5 seconds back in the lead again, but he's shown some speed in that car today. He very well could be faster than us, but I think us having the clean air, well, not the clean air, but being in front of him, making it harder for him to pass now that we're in the lap traffic too. Little contact with Kligerman as we came in hot into turn 6. We try to race to get around him through turn 7, and now he ducks back down to the inside, a little tight off of turn 7. Kligerman not giving us a lot of room at all. And that costed us about a second to a second and a half that last lap. We try to go to the outside through turn 1 now to get around Matt Tift. It's going to get tight. Tift not giving us a lot of room at all. More contact with the lap cars. Now we'll get around him through the carousel. Again, another second to a second and a half gained by Bowman. And Jamie McMurray is slow on the racetrack. Not sure where he's at, but he has fallen outside the top 5. Huge problems for McMurray and what could possibly be the final chance he had of winning a race before the playoffs. He's got an issue, and I'm sure he's trying to limp it onto pit road now. Maybe he went around for a spin or something. That's very well possible too. I'm sure the rest of those guys in the top 5 are pretty close to the lap traffic as we just cleared Corey LaJoie through turn 6. Yeah, thanks for the comment, man. Oh, this is going to get tight through turn 1 there. Had to really back it down. I knew Menard might have pinched us off, and he did. And we'll probably just have to sit behind him and wait to get around him until we get out of the carousel. Oh, Menard is loose. I thought he was going around right in the middle of the carousel for a second. Very, very strange situation. We never made contact with him, but he almost lost control in front of us. We had to get on the brakes, and we still, therefore, were not able to get around him. We've got to do it through turn 5 here. Looking to the outside, Menard holding us up quite a bit. Oh yeah, blowing around him off of turn 5 now. That cost us more time here. I mean, again, we're going to have issues like that most of the day. Maybe not to that extent with how loose Menard was going through the carousel up the hill there. And there is Jamie McMurray finally has nursed it onto pit road. He is losing massive time if at all at this point in the race that he can get back into it. It's going to be very, very difficult. We're only in stage 1 in this race, still in the early going here. But we are almost done with this stage. I think we only got 8 to go when we crossed the line that time. So we are flying through. We started this race at about 10:30 by the time we got done with qualifying. So now into the bus stop. Jimmy Johnson is right there. Almirola, not sure where he's at right now, but we know. Want to give Johnson a little bit of room here. See if he can catch Almirola at all throughout the course of this race today, but not a good start for Jimmy if he wants to have another solid point stage. He goes a lap down in stage number 1 in the 23rd position as now we about missed turn 6. I think Bowman's not around us anymore for the moment. Another mistake out of turn 7. It's the 3rd time we brushed that wall today, but that was probably the hardest hit of the 3. Really, that's the only mistake we've made today was through turn 7. And at least it's been minor at times, but we really got to start taking care of the car. We are way too early in the race to be having any sort of issues like that. Obviously don't want to repair any damage at the end of the stage, so we can try to hold the track position on pit road if at all possible. So you know everybody's going to come down pit road at the stage break here. Put 4 fresh tires on it. We'll get to see what Alex Bowman can do. Lined up right around us. And look at Kevin Harvick. He's in third, about 24 to 25 seconds off the lead. But he finished second at Sonoma and challenged us really hard there. If he's got another good race car today, of course he's on a hot streak as well. Back-to-back runner-up finishes in the last 2 races that we have ran. New Hampshire finished second. Had one of the tougher cars there. Had the toughest car to beat at Pocono. We got around him late on pit strategy in that race. And he ended up finishing second in the last race at Pocono also. He gets a good restart. Maybe Harvick has a shot to have winning potential, winning speed once again here late in this race. We have led every lap to this point in the race, but remember at Sonoma too, we led all but the first couple laps in that race through the first stage, and then we led most of stage 2 as well. Three laps to go now here at Watkins Glen in stage number 1. And we'll bunch the field back up once again. But again, now that Bowman and Harvick are around us, I think stage 2 is going to get a lot more race here at the start, instead of us pulling away for about the first 5 laps and having Bowman try to reel us back in. And once we got through the lap traffic a little bit better than he did, we were able to pull away again. I'm still amazed at how quick we caught the lap cars. Lap 9, me and Bowman were already there at him. And a lot of the reason we weren't racing real hard with each other, he was on our back bumper, but he wasn't getting alongside of us, slowing us down quite a bit. He was racing us really, really clean and not as aggressive. Will be interesting to see if that'll keep up going forward as we clear Joey Logano now to put him a lap down. Joey, of course, has won at Watkins Glen in the past. He won a fuel mileage race, I want to say back in 2015 on Kevin Harvick. Last lap pass for the win there. So no cautions to this point so far. Jamie McMurray, the lone driver out of the race, he has blown an engine within the first 15 laps here at Watkins Glen. But he was able to stay out of the way. Therefore, there was no caution. Although it took him about a lap and a half to limp it around, but he was out of the way, therefore we stayed green. Tires are getting a little worn out. We've done a good job taking care of them so far around this racetrack today. 45% tire wear in the left front. And the right sides are taken really good care of, both in the 70s here before the end of stage 1. So that's a very good sign for things to come going forward. I think that left front would be better if we didn't scrape the wall a few times off of turn number 7, to be quite honest. That probably cost us a little time there as well, but trying to stay to the inside of Ty Dillon. So white flag in the air, final lap of stage number 1. We've hit our marks from the start of the race here today. We're doing a great job so far. See if we can get any more of these guys a lap down before the end of stage 1. It's very well possible, though we only have 3 more turns left. Looks like Matt DiBenedetto's up there. He's got a very fast car. That would be huge if we could put him a lap down. He is really caught in traffic. Remember, he started at the rear of the field today. This is probably going to be our best chance of putting him a lap down as he's stuck behind Michael McDowell in the 19th, battling for 18th position, trying to run him down, but I think we're going to come up just short through turn 7. Really tried to send it in there, and he will barely hold on to the lead lap at the line as Ryan Blaney wins stage 1 here at Watkins Glen. And quite a ways before the top 10 gets back to the line. It looks like Almirola inside the top 10. That could hurt Jimmy Johnson. And it looks like Joey Logano is going to get the free pass in 20th. Johnson will be 22nd, so he'll just miss out on the free pass there. Assuming he can't catch David Reagan and Logano before the end of the lap. Nope, not going to be the case. So, yep, Logano gets the free pass. Your top 10 looks like this. Ryan Blaney first, Alex Bowman second, Kevin Harvick third, Martin Truex Jr. fourth, Denny Hamlin fifth, Chase Elliott sixth, Kyle Busch seventh, William Byron eighth, Brad Keselowski ninth, and Eric Almirola rounding out the top 10. Not going to repair any damage. 3/4 of a tank of fuel is enough to fill it up to the top. 4-tire stop coming up here, and we'll see where we will be when we start stage 2. I'd have to imagine we'll probably have a pretty solid pit stop. We don't have much damage on the car. It looked like 2 seconds, but obviously the car is still fast and it handles perfectly fine, so no need to take it there. So here we go. We are going to get set to start stage number 2. Green flag in the air. Here we go. Start of the second stage at Watkins Glen. By the time we went green here, only 17 laps to run in this one as we get off to a great start off of turn 1 once again. Able to keep the clean air with ease without much of a battle from Alex Bowman. But Bowman could arguably have a faster car. We don't know what Harvick's got in this kind of track position off this restart. Maybe even Denny Hamlin, Kyle Busch, guys we have not seen in the top 5 very long today, are running in the top 5 as we speak. Remember, you had guys qualify pretty well at the front, like Jamie McMurray. Ryan Newman was up here towards the front early on. That was kind of holding track position in the very beginning of this race. Got a good run. Here comes Bowman. He might try it into turn number 7, looking to the outside to make the pass. Maybe just trying to set us up so when we get down into turn 1, he might have an opportunity. So we break the draft down to the bottom. We're going to lead the opening lap of stage number 2, but not by much. Alex Bowman might be looking to put up a fight here. Went a little wide through turn 1, but we're able to beat him back to the gas and stay in front of him as we go through the carousel. But Alex Bowman is right there. Harvick not far behind in third either. Top 3 within a second at the very beginning of stage number 2. Again, we hit our marks pretty well. We kept it on the track, never spun off the track in stage 1, obviously. Had a lot to do with why we dominated the opening stage, leading every lap. But will there be an opportunity for Bowman to strike it all here early in stage 2 before we get to the lap traffic? And turn 6 is probably going to be his best opportunity because we have not been able to stick that corner very much today. So we got back into the gas too soon there, had to lift a little bit. Bowman definitely beat us back to the gas. Already only 15 laps to go in stage 2 now. Bowman looking around. Actually kind of pulled Bowman through not only the bus stop, but even turn 5 a little bit. Gaining a couple car lengths. And this time it looks like we were able to hit turn 6 pretty well for the most part. off the curbing a little bit, but that's okay. Turn 7 wasn't as great though. Didn't have much on throttle time there through that corner. Not like usual. We'll ride along through the different cams now for the final time already in the early going of this race today. But of course, not a long race. Already less than 70 laps to go. So we go uphill through the carousel. Little bump there. Harvick's starting to slip back a little bit. He's about a second and a half off the race lead. He's losing Bowman a little bit in the process too. But again, Alex Bowman is staying right with us, at least for right now. Try to keep the car hooked to the inside there. Pretty good job through turn 5. Still about a half second ahead of Alex Bowman. Really good corner through turn 1 that time. Bowman had no shot to gain any time on us there. Not bad getting through the carousel either. Kind of using the curbs to our advantage that time. The final stage is going to be obviously really interesting because we're probably not going to be able to make it on fuel all the way through the stage. We will have to we'll probably have to make one live pit stop at some point in time. We've been incident-free to this point in the race at Sonoma this year. We had 3 cautions throughout the entirety of that one. And if I remember right, I don't think we had any in the first stage in that race either. So far the 2 road courses are kind of playing out similar to one another. Bowman gains time through turn 6 again. What will he do here through turn 7? Bowman looking to the inside. He got close to our back bumper there. Couldn't make a move, but maybe he'll try it through turn 1. We stuck the bottom pretty well for the most part as we beat him back to the gas. Now the rumble strips off of turn 1 into the carousel again. Seems like we're pretty equal through turn 1 to the carousel most laps. We pull him through the bus stop in turn 5, and then he catches right back up to us in turn 6 and 7. Which it's actually better for him to be better on the last half or the last couple corners of this racetrack compared to what we are. If it does come down to a last lap dash, he might have a shot to beat us and get around us. Obviously, that's thinking long term. Easing back into the throttle, making sure we didn't punch it back in too soon. So I just tried to glance down at the comment section for the first time in a while today. It's really hard. I'm trying to look as much as I can while trying to keep Alex Bowman back, of course. So if I do miss anything in the comment section, I obviously don't mean to. Try to look as much as I possibly can, but main focus obviously to stay in the lead here. So we got a pretty good battle for the lead going on. Using the steering wheel on a road course, there's just so many things going on at once. It's like another big gap all the way back to 4th there, where Hamlin and Kyle Busch have been battling for quite some time. Go down, we'll break the draft on Alex Bowman again. At the line, we've led every lap to this point. We're halfway through stage 2 now. 30 laps complete out of 90, and we're a third of the way home. Not William Byron. Alex Bowman still right on our back bumpers. We slip a little bit through the carousel that time. He definitely ran the carousel a lot better than we did, as he tries to stay in our draft now down the second longest straightaway of the racetrack. Caution. First time today we have a caution. No, it's uppercase K, uppercase S. Alright, Holden. Hopefully you can make it back for the finish of this one. So this is going to be interesting. I wonder if there might be any guys towards the rear pitting. Ryan Newman looks like he's the only guy hitting pit road, but he could have been the cause of the caution. Not sure. Ryan Truex obviously is pitting too. Free pass will go to Jimmy Johnson. That is huge for Johnson. Of course, Almirola got one stage point back in the first stage. We were not able to catch lap traffic before the yellow there. And here we go. The green flag back in the air once again. 7 laps to go in stage 2 as we go green. Again, we got the advantage into turn 1. Accidentally downshifted to first gear, able to hang on to it, but we definitely did not pull Bowman like we did the first couple restarts. So one caution for incident in the early going of this one, but now we're pulling him through the carousel just a little bit to get that half second out in front of him once again. Obviously, we got a little bit more laps on our tires, but again, not too bad with the tire wear. We're running as hard as we want, really, these final 7 laps. Once it gets to about 30% on the tire wear on these road courses, though, you really lose a lot of grip compared to what you would already have. And it gets very, very hard to control. We go a little wide through turn 6. Here comes Bowman, looking to the outside. He's there, trying to hold him back as much as we can. Side by side for the lead now. And we were in danger of losing the lead. Barely able to side draft off of him off of turn 7. Will he try us through 1? With 6 laps to go now in stage 2. That was a close one. Bowman almost got around us. I'm scared that if we lose the lead, it's going to be so hard to pass him once he has the clean air, so we got to keep him behind him as much as possible. Bowman actually got through the bus stop really well that time. Ooh, way too deep of a dive into turn 6. Here comes Bowman again to the outside into turn 7. Can he get us that time? Trying to get through there. Now we break the draft to the inside. It's a dead heat to the line. I believe we led the lap once again. It was very, very close, and now going wide into turn 1. On the brakes, hard into the outside wall. A huge mistake. Heavy damage to the front of the car. And Alex Bowman is not only driving away with the lead, we tried to beat him into turn 1. Huge problems as we stay green. We were off the track and out of the way. And now the car's just all over the place. We have led every lap of this race to this point until the end of this lap right here. I think I'm going to have to hit pit road because this car is not handling right at all anymore. We are extremely slow, heavy damage to the front bumper of the car. Huge problems. Towards the end of stage number 2 as we were battling with Alex Bowman. Wow. It'd be nice if we could stay out of the pits here and try to get some sort of stage points. I just don't see that happening. We are running hot. Starting to overheat now. Really don't want to go in danger of going a lap down to the end of the stage, and that's the only reason I have not pit yet. The first mistake we made all day was a very, very big one. Still kind of hanging with these guys in front of us, but I mean, I don't see us making much ground at all, and we just got to make sure we don't blow the engine if we overheat here, because those temperatures are running hot, up to 261 now. It's not too terrible. It just starts to notify you once you get to about 260. Problem is, we're running right in dirty air right behind these 4 cars as well. That's not helping the airflow of the car. As we now go to the outside on Martin Truex Jr. will make the pass off of turn 7 to the inside of DiBenedetto. We might be able to steal stage points as long as we don't overheat. That is a big if, though. But obviously, we're going to lose a lot of spots at the end of the stage on pit road with the very heavy damage to this car. Yeah, I wrecked into turn 1. I locked the brakes up. We were side by side with Bowman. I was trying to kind of run a little harder, and I just could not get the car to slow down at all. I didn't think I was going to end up in the wall, honestly. I thought I was just going to go way wide, and I was probably going to lose a couple spots, but we ended up hitting the wall hard. I could not get that car to slow up at all. By the time we backed it up, we fell, what, back to 16th, and gained a couple spots since, but very, very heavy damage here. Pit road, I believe, is going to be closed this time. Maybe next time. Not sure exactly how many laps are left. 2 to go. Look at the damage on the front of the car. Unbelievable. Try to stay in front of DiBenedetto. Yeah, we're definitely running a little bit hotter here. We'll probably hit about 265 plus going into the bus stop. Yeah, 267. Again, this is very difficult to steer at this point. I'm plowing all over the racetrack. And it looks like Alex Bowman is going to go on to win stage 2 unless Harvick can help it. But now that Bowman's got the clean air with the speed that he's got in the car, he's probably pulling away from Harvick, I'd have to imagine. White flag is in the air. 1 lap to go here in stage number 2. As we'll have a 50-lap dash to the finish of the race. And we're going to have to make up a lot of ground, because I guarantee we come out of the pits, we are not going to be in 14th. We are going to lose a lot of spots. Not going to get any stage points here in stage number 2. I don't think we're going to catch Buescher for 13th. I just hope that engine makes it the last half a lap here. At 271 now. 272. By far the hottest that we have ran so far. I don't really see any smoke coming out of the back of the car either, though, so that's a good sign. You know, when that starts happening, it's not going to be very good. We might actually get around Buescher for 13th. Not going to mean much, because again, we're going to lose a ton of spots on pit road with this damage. Trying to get him through turn 6. Oh, a little contact. Nope. Not going to get him. 14th at the end of stage 2. Alex Bowman will win the second stage of this race. We'll end up 14th. Huge problems with 6 laps to go in stage number 2. Into the wall coming out of turn number 1. Right there, right about where we are right now. We had to lock the brakes up. We were side by side for the lead with Bowman. And we completely missed the corner. Somehow, with being on the inside of Bowman, we didn't take him out as well. 15 seconds of damage. 4 fresh tires onto pit road this time. Heavy, heavy damage. So we fall back to 22nd. Thankfully, it's not worse because of the amount of drivers on the lead lap there. Daniel Suarez will get the free pass, and we're back under green, trying to get a good restart, but we've got a lot of ground to make up through the middle of this field. Of course, very difficult to pass. At Watkins Glen, 3x3 through the first turn, but we made it stick. No contact necessary. Look at this restart. All the way up to 10th already. Sitting right behind Eric Almirola and Kurt Busch. Looking to the inside, a little contact with Almirola. Rubbing on by. Still side by side with Kurt Busch. Going into the bus stop very tight. Almost couldn't even hold the corner. Busch is still there. Desperate times call for desperate measures as look at Bowman already building a small gap on Kevin Harvick. Just over a half lap into the final stage. So we look to the inside of Chase Elliott for 6th into turn number 6. And we're going to clear him. Not really a passing zone on the track, but we made it work as one. I'm surprised we got up to 6th already, but a great, great restart there. 46 to go. We'll run this regular camera now for the rest of this race here today. But now that we have reached the top 5, it's going to be a lot harder to pass these guys. We're strung out now. Obviously up to speed on the restart. We'll see how we can try to work around these guys. We'll get to the inside of Kyle Busch. Hopefully he lets us go into the bus stop, and he will. So he'll give us the 5th spot. Not much of a fight there. As now we trail right behind Denny Hamlin. Peeking to the inside, not going to get him that time. The only bright side to this point of the race for us, 2 of them really, we got 1 stage win, so we did get another playoff point through stage 1. We led the first 34 laps of the race before Bowman was able to take the lead. Now, last race at Pocono, we only had 2 leaders the entire race, and that was Kevin Harvick and I. Now we sneak to the inside here. Very tough to go side by side through the carousel, but we make the pass on Hamlin to move up to 4th. And how about William Byron in the top 3? Trying to make a name for himself here and get his first career win in the Cup Series. Late in the season, he's well on the outside of the playoff bubble looking in. A win would lock him into the playoffs. He's hanging with Harvick for 2nd. Yep, I definitely been working hard on making the daily videos. It's very hard for me to stream. Oh man, way wide. Turn 6 again. But yeah, it's very hard for me to stream Mondays and Tuesdays, especially Wednesday. I was luckily able to this week, but just with the work schedule I'm on now, once everything goes back to normal and I'm working 5 days a week instead of 3, my hours will go back to a regular 8-hour shift, so I'll be able to stream every day again. But yeah, it's very hard to get it out Mondays and Tuesdays. But once I moved to daily streams at the start of the NASCAR season, the channel's really been booming. I've had a lot more fun with it. It's been a lot more involved. I'm getting better at the game just by playing it every day. So that's probably why you guys see me win a lot on the championship mode. Just getting a lot more practice in than I usually would have before. Yep, thanks Holden. We're having a tough time trying to catch William Byron and Kevin Harvick right now. You can see the small gains on certain parts of the racetrack, but I think that just has to go with the dirty air, that we are just not able to catch these guys like we were when we were pulling away back in the first 2 stages. Still got 43 to go, and obviously we still have one more pit stop to go to the end of the race. Oh, way wide through turn 1 again. Luckily, we got the car to turn a lot better that time, but still. We are trying way too hard to catch these guys. We just got to calm down, take it easy, and try to reel them in over the long run here. Hopefully we get through the lap traffic a lot better than them like we did back in stage 1, and I think we could be okay. Problem is, obviously, there's not a lot of laps left. Wasn't a lot of laps to start this race. Only 90 here at Watkins Glen. It's the fewest amount of laps in a Cup Series race over the course of the entire season. Playoffs or regular season. 400 kilometers in length, but yeah, just not a very long race. We still aren't even an hour into this race despite being well past halfway. We started right about 10:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. No, you guys are fine in the comment section if you're distracted at all. That's part of the reason why I can't get to it all the time. And I'm glad you guys understand that I can't, especially in a race like this. But with using the controller, it is a lot easier to look at the comment section down straightaways. But short tracks and road courses, even super speedways for that matter, intermediate tracks are really the easier ones. I can look at the comment section throughout without really messing my lineup at all. But yeah, these races I'm either packed together or constantly turning is definitely difficult. But nope, you guys are perfectly fine. I love the feedback throughout the course of the streams. Another unique way to make these live streams feel a little more different, despite the fact I try to give it a real race feel. But yeah, I don't think we're gaining any time on Alex Bowman right now. 5.5 seconds off the lead, but I don't think that interval has gotten bigger or smaller. I think we've stayed pretty much about equal. Lost it to turn 1 there. We keep missing turn 1 here in stage 3 though. Haven't had a problem with that outside of when we locked the brakes up at one time. We got to be very careful of that. We were trying so hard to keep that clean air on Bowman, but we were trying way too hard, and that seems to be when I make the most mistakes on these road courses, is when I'm trying way too hard to catch these guys instead of just dialing it down and hitting my marks throughout the course of these races. So we were 5.5 seconds back at the line that last time, but I think that mess up in turn 1 costed us so much time. And again, of course, Bowman still got the clean air, but he should catch lap traffic, if not next lap, the lap after. Oh, look at that. Well, 0.6 of a second that last lap. Mainly just because of turn 1. There we go. Got through turn 1 really well that time. Wasn't perfect, but it's a lot better than what we have been getting through turn 1 here in this stage. I will be streaming one more time at some point later today. Not entirely sure what time it is. Of course, yesterday I started my new series of the toughest season in NASCAR video game history. Where I race a full race as usual, cautions turned off. We had the Daytona 500 and it was extremely chaotic yesterday. I had some good input throughout the course of the live stream that you guys enjoyed it, so we'll obviously keep that season going. Got a 3rd place finish there, so we'll go on to Atlanta later today at some point in time. Probably be later, more towards the evening hours if I had to guess, but yeah, very chaotic race. Definitely the most difficult season I think I've ever had to do. And I said before the stream started, or before the race started in the stream yesterday, that we would be lucky to win more than 5 races over the course of the season. We're 0 for 1 already. I know I win a lot, and I've gotten better at this game, but no cautions is just so difficult over the course of a long race. Every single race, you make one mistake and hit. If we do what we did here at Watkins Glen through turn 1, our race is done. There's no way we would come back from that and win. Luckily, we had the stage break here, and we had other things considered. And obviously, there's no playoffs in that 24 race season either, so that makes it even harder to try and win the championship. Yeah, I don't know what time I'll be streaming later. If I had to guess, it's gonna definitely be after the NASCAR race today for sure. We'll probably be looking anywhere between 3 to 5 o'clock. Would probably be narrowing it down. It wouldn't be too late tonight because I got to work early in the morning, but probably what we'll be shooting for. Got around a couple lap cars there, as well as William Byron as he was getting held up by Ty Dillon back behind us. So that moved us up to third, but we're still about 5 seconds off the lead of Alex Bowman. It was 6 seconds. You can see Bowman's lost some time, but this is going to be a huge pivotal point of the race to see how everybody will be. Byron's lost a lot of time. Closing ground on Kevin Harvick. So he's trying to get around BJ McLeod. Now he's stuck behind him off the exit of turn 5. Look at him trying to get around to the outside. We're going to take it to the inside. 3 wide going into turn 6. As me and Harvick split the lap traffic, Harvick just able to hold on to second. Now we'll try to drive it in deep into turn 7, trying to get him. Contact now between the 4 and the 12 as we try to pull him back. A little bit of a side draft going down the longest straightaway, and now we clear him before we get into turn number 1. Harvick peeking back to the outside again. And we hold clear. Now up to second, 3 seconds off the race leader of Alex Bowman. Now we've got Brendan Gaughan to deal with off the exit of the carousel as he's holding us up quite a bit. Harvick trying to pull us back to the back bumper again, but we were able to get around Gaughan cleanly despite it taking a little longer, as now we got about 3 lap cars through the bus stop right in front of Alex Bowman, as we are now within 1.5 seconds of the lead. Tyler Reddick, Landon Castle, I don't know who else is up here. I think Ryan Preece. Bowman caught up big time, still behind Castle. We split 3 wide for the lead into turn 6. Preece is in the way now, to the inside, overshooting the corner a little bit. Contact, still 3 wide. Alex Bowman sneaks down to the bottom, driving it hard into turn number 7. A little loose off the exit of the corner. More contact now with the leaders. 36 laps to go. Trying not to overdrive turn 1, but we did drive it in deep. A slide job, a right-handed turn. Slide job as we were able to clear Alex Bowman through turn number 1. That's what I was trying to do the first time back at stage 2. Worked 10 times better that time as we are able to take the lead now by about 1/2 second. Getting around Joey Gase easily now. It took a while, but we're back out in front once again here at Watkins Glen. And now Harvick is reeling in Bowman. They're both about 1.5 to 2 seconds off the lead. "35 laps to go." It's all going to be based off of pit strategy here in this one. How far will we go? We have to obviously, if we stay green to the end of this one, run a longer green flag stretch than we have at any point in time throughout the course of this race. So how will we split that one pit stop up? We can obviously split the stage in half. I think I'm going to go as long as I can once I get to 30% tire wear on the left front, which will likely hit 30% first. I'm going to hit pit road then, so I don't lose time because of how loose that we are going to be trying to get through every single corner, because I guarantee you that will be the case here today. So we have ran a little, almost as fast, I should say, as our qualifying lap. 107.96. That was the fastest lap that we have ran so far today. It is about 17 one-thousandths of a second slower than what we ran in qualifying. Obviously, a lot more traffic in the race, more laps on your tires. A little bit different. That is for sure. So we're a little over 1 second ahead of Alex Bowman right now. Kevin Harvick is about 3 seconds back in the lead, and then you got a little bit of a gap to Byron, who's about 6.5 seconds off. We caught Austin Dillon in a bad spot through the bus stop there. Trying to get around him cleanly, a little bit of contact. Very heavy lap traffic coming up ahead too. We still got about 59% tire wear on the left front, but you can see all the other three tires are at over 80%. So it goes to show how much more we are burning that right front, especially in these right-handed corners, more so than the left-handed turns. You're wearing the left front off a lot more here compared to other road courses because there are a lot more right-handed turns compared to left-handed turns around this racetrack. There are really only 2 left-handed corners. Is the very end of this bus stop, I guess going uphill through the carousel once, and then turn number 6. Every other turn on this racetrack is right-handed, and they're all pretty sharp for the most part. We kind of got in the back of Ryan Truex. Bowman has closed the gap now. He's now about a second off the lead again. Byron closing in as well. He's only 4.5 seconds off the lead. We tried to get under Suarez. Could not get him that time through turn 6. We'll send it into turn 7. Looking to get to his inside. A little loose. Couldn't do it. Try to break the draft in the bottom. Bowman, only 1 lap car in between us now. Harvick, 2 seconds off the lead. He's closing in. Still 3 more lap cars in front of us as we charge hard into turn 1 to stay in front of Suarez. Now looking to the inside of Matt Tift through the carousel. This could get tight. Not a lot of room at all here. But we do get around him. Thought better of thought about sending it into the bus stop there, and I thought better of it at the last second that wasn't going to be smart. Still got too many laps left in the race. Don't want to risk tearing the car up. Took a couple extra corners, but we will get around Cody Ware and Bubba Wallace after all. Bowman still has to get around 2 more lap cars as he's about a second off the lead still. Harvick 3 seconds back, and William Byron right behind Harvick now at about 3 to 3.5 seconds off the race lead with 31 to go. He has caught up 3 seconds in the last 4 laps just because of the lap traffic. He is doing a fantastic job in the 24 car. Again, trying to win his first career race and sneak into the playoffs late in the regular season here. We are within the pit window. Again, we can go 34 laps on a full tank of fuel. So it'll be interesting to see if we'll see anybody hit pit road before the end of the race. The only driver who is DNF'd still is Jamie McMurray. He was out of the race in the first 15 laps. We stayed green after he blew an engine. Nursed it onto pit road. Not sure what the first and only caution for incident was out on, but whoever it was, they are still in the race. I was guessing it was either Ryan Truex or Ryan Newman because both those guys were the only 2 to pit under that caution, but not sure exactly which one of the 2 it was. I did not see really any damage around Ryan Truex the couple times I've seen him since. That was back in stage 2. Again, a 3-second lead right now. Doing a great job. I gotta say though, I am definitely working up a sweat throughout the course of this race. I couldn't imagine being in the car if it was hot outside at the same time. I could only imagine. I'm just upstairs in my bedroom. A little wide through turn 6, not too bad though. Just ran our fastest lap of the race, that last lap of 107.520, and that is faster than any lap we ran in qualifying as well. Very weird to have that happen towards the end of a tire stint. Well, not the end of it, but about halfway through a tire stint. We've got almost 20 laps on our tires. 17, 18 laps on our tires right now when we ran that lap, so that is awesome. Awesome to see we're running our fastest laps of the race this late. We have really pulled away from Harvick and Bowman, or sorry, Harvick and Byron. Bowman's still within about 3.5 seconds, but we have pulled away a couple seconds from him as well. It'd be nice to really build up a very big gap here before we have green flag pit stops at whatever point in time. That is going to come as we go down the track again, breaking the draft. So we were about a second slower that last lap because we kind of caught Ty Dillon there. And Jimmy Johnson in 21st, again, on the outside of the playoff bubble looking in. He was 20 points back coming into this race. Eric Almirola scored 3 stage points today with 10th place finish in stage 1 and a 9th place finish in stage 2. So he's got 3 points there. A little contact between Johnson and I. On the exit of the carousel, again, just so tight to go through that part of the track side by side. Big hop off of the curb that time. Going to catch Joey Logano. He's going to go lap down now, so only 19 drivers currently on the lead lap here at Watkins Glen. $27 to go. Yeah, I have a good reaction time when I race with the steering wheel on pretty much every track here on this game. I really need to get into iRacing. I think I'd be really good at it, honestly. I raced go-karts from the time I was a little kid up until I was about 18, 19 years old. Just stopped, I think last year was the first year I didn't race from the time I was like 8 years old, or like whatever it was I started exactly, in quarter midgets, and trying to work my way up the ranks, you know, and I just never really got like the attention, I guess. There was a kid that was the son of a sprint car racer that raced locally around here, and they always had the best equipment. Wherever we would go and he would go, I mean, we'd be lucky to win 1 or 2 races a season. He just dominated everybody. We were like the second fastest car, like the entire way growing up. So I was kind of like in the shadow of his limelight, and he ended up getting a sprint car ride because his dad, and he had more money than us, obviously. So I mean, it sucked that was perhaps maybe the only thing holding me back. I mean, we didn't have, you know, the family ties that he had. We didn't have the money that he had for our equipment, despite showing up. I mean, we probably, the equipment we were running was probably equivalent to, like, if I were to put it in NASCAR perspectives, we probably had like a, we didn't have terrible equipment. Really trying to think. We kind of had like a, Man, I'm really trying to think of a good comparison here. Yeah, I don't know. I'm really stumbling on trying to think of like a NASCAR team that's about equipment we had compared to like his every single week. I mean, we had middle of the ground equipment. Like we shouldn't have been running top 5 every single race, is what I'm saying. Like we shouldn't have been finishing 2nd or 3rd every single race, but we did, and I actually got 1 championship out of it one year because I think that might have been. That might have been one season. I think he couldn't race. I think he broke his arm playing like baseball or something like during the season. Which I mean, it sucks for him obviously, but we won the title that year. We actually won more races than what we ever did before, and I thought that was going to be like my breaking chance to like, okay, maybe somebody's going to find me, to possibly get in a ride, Do I live in Ohio? Yes, I do, actually. I live northwest Ohio, like right around Toledo area. Not quite in Toledo, but yeah, I mean, this is, oh boy. But I would love to get back into racing if I could. Maybe, who knows? Maybe I'll be really good at iRacing. I don't know it, and that could take me somewhere. I mean, I really don't know. I definitely got a good history with racing. My grandpa owned sprint cars back in the 90s, so he had some ties there. But I mean, he had no clue what to do with go-karts. He even told me that, like, I mean, he doesn't know how we're doing. Like, I don't think he realized like how we were going to do that well. And once he got sick that last summer, he sold the cart, sold everything, and that was the end of the go-kart days. We had a good reign though. It was pretty fun going down to the track. I mean, it was so awesome whenever we would win. I mean, there would be people like congratulating us. Like, it was so cool. It's like, dude, you like earned it, I remember we went a long time without winning. We went like almost 2 whole seasons without winning a race, despite the fact we were competitive and we were so close so many weekends, and we dominated and won. The day we beat Sam, we like just dominated that whole event. Won the heat. I think we led every lap of the feature too. I mean, it was just crazy. There was a late caution too that kind of scared me, but I felt confident that I'd take off on the restart. I mean, I remember it vividly. It was probably my favorite moment at the track. That, or the very first time I hopped in a quarter midget and I won the first ever race I was in, because the leader at the time, Sam, didn't run quarter midgets when I was like in my first year of racing, but the leader at the time had a flat tire, and there was a 1-lap green-white checker I got around him on the restart. That was pretty cool that day too. Those are probably my 2 favorite times racing when I was younger. Oh, you live in Findlay? That's nice. Small world, man. We got a couple Ohio watchers. I know there's another guy in this channel that lived in Elyria, grew up in Elyria. So that's only about an hour from where I live too, so. Crazy. So we got 22 laps to go. We're getting very close to the pit window here for us. Honestly, I could pit right now if I really wanted to. I think I'll probably take it this entire lap and then pit next time by. We've really opened the gap on Bowman, about 11.5 seconds ahead. William Byron has passed Harvick. He is now up to 3rd. That was a very solid run that time around. We're going to stay out 1 more lap. We'll pit this next time by so we can have an even 20-lap run to the finish, as if like we did back in stage 1. Again, only 1 caution the entire race. There was one other race we only had 1 caution, and that was the first time we went to Pocono earlier this season. little loose into turn 1. You can definitely tell the tires have definitely fallen off the car just within the last 5 laps alone. Longest stint we have had on these tires all day, as we have ran, by the end of this lap, 23 consecutive laps. So we're well past our halfway point in the stage. I'd like to keep running as long as I can, but I just don't think it's the smartest thing to do. I think we got to pit. Worst thing that could happen is a caution. Yeah, see, we just missed turn 5 a little bit there. Yeah, we got to pit this time. I think we're going to start giving up too much time if we stay out any longer. So here we go. Gonna bring it on to pit road this time. We'll see. We should be able to cycle out the lead. We got a 14-second lead on Alex Bowman at the line. Speed limit's 40 miles an hour. We hit 40 right at the line. Perfect timing to get on to pit road. We'll put 1 can of fuel in it. 4 fresh tires. We'll repair any damage. Now we'll just fill it up full. 4 fresh tires. Gonna repair any damage we've got on the car. We'll bring it back out there. .7 pit stop is what it's going to look like this time. I believe in qualifying we had a 15.3. So yeah, that damage repair. We hit the wall again in turn 1, but nowhere near as hard as we hit it back in stage 2. So we should be good to go. Fairly decent pit stop. Off and running we go. We'll have to see how much time Bowman will try to take here. And obviously, if he tries to stay out as long as he can before he pits, there's a very, very good chance. Wow, what a gap between coming out 8th and where, okay, no, Kyle Busch is a lot closer, but still, even 12-second difference there. It's going to get tight. Going into the bus stop, contact with Chase Elliott as we go a little wide. Probably should have just stuck and waited behind Kurt Busch, but being on fresh tires, definitely want to go. Because then Bowman's going to have a few lap fresher tires than us whenever he decides to pit. But we are getting held up big time right now as they are side by side for position just in front of us in 6th. Now they split. BJ McLeod 3 wide. That was unbelievable. Oh, McLeod still holding us up big time. Look at this. Thank you, 9 people watching now. As we get towards the end of this race, again, we're in 8th. We just pitted. We have 19 laps to go. So 19 laps left. Heavy lap traffic to start this final tire stint of the race, but it is time to go and burn the wheels off of this thing to the finish. When will Alex Bowman pit? How much time is he gaining on us in the lap traffic right now? As even though we are on fresher tires than these guys ahead of us, we are struggling to get around. We'll get around Elliott for 7th. Now we'll try to get around Kurt Busch for 6th here sometime soon as well. Bowman stays out of the pits at least another lap. Now on fuel, they can take it till about 9 laps to go at the longest. We pitted 10 laps earlier here to try and gain some track position, but it doesn't look like it's helping us much right now in the short run, just because of the fact that these guys are staying ahead of us. 18 to go. Now to the inside, driving it in deep to try and get past the 34, slight contact, we're okay. And now we got to deal with Brendan Gaughan. And we're going to get on through. Up to 6th. Yeah, you're very right. The whole coronavirus thing, how badly I just want things to go back to normal, man. I mean, it's nice having 4 days off of work and still getting a lot of hours in the middle of the week, but man, those 3 days I'm working are exhausting just because of how many hours I've been having to put in. Just because they had to split our warehouse up in half. Instead of working the Monday through Friday, I'm working Monday through Wednesday, but it's 12.5-hour shifts. Or by Wednesday night, I'm so tired, and that's why it's so hard for me to stream. Because I have to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning just to be in. Once we go back to the regular shift, I don't have to wake up early anymore. I still get home at a decent time. Be getting home like an hour to an hour and a half sooner, so on the daily, but you can expect pretty much a full race live stream every day on the channel. So I had to catch up quite a bit of ground here to Denny Hamlin, who is in 5th currently. He's only about 2.5 to 3 seconds ahead of us now, and Eric Jones is actually about 10.5 to 11 seconds ahead of where we're at right now on the track, and he's in 4th. Alex Bowman is about 30 seconds ahead of us, 29 actually. "16 laps to go at the line as we get towards the end of this one." Hamlin caught up in very heavy lap traffic, 3 cars right in front of him. Look at how wide we go through turn 1, trying to get on it and get around Hamlin in these lap cars as soon as we can. Johnson in the way, on the brakes all of a sudden. We couldn't quite get around the 11, and now we're 3 wide with Denny Hamlin. Jimmy Johnson, as we were able to clear him before we get to the bus stop. Into the back of the 66 slightly, couldn't get the car load up in time, and now the 00 bounces off of us. Up the track we go. Hamlin able to get back around for 5th. Almost got hooked together. Luckily, we didn't end up in the wall. Castle ended up in the grass. I don't think he hit the wall too. How much time did that cost us? Not much on the leader, but it did cost us some time from Eric Jones. But it looks like Alex Bowman's got a lot of clean air in front of him now for the next couple laps at least, before he catches another lap car. 15 to go. Holden, that's alright if you can't make it for the stream later today. I don't really expect everybody to watch every single stream I put out. I understand it's hard, you know, especially during these times. I don't expect it. I just do it for more entertainment for you guys, because I'm sure things are really slow around the world. And I'm just glad you guys are enjoying the content, making me want to put out more on the daily like I have been, so. And that's what's cool, because I leave the streams up so you guys can still watch them at a later time. Especially as we follow, because I do the championship mode over the course of the season to see how things are shaping up still. We are reeling in Eric Jones and Harvick again. Those guys are still on old tires, and Bowman on pit road now, in fact. Alex Bowman could have taken it about another 5 laps if he wanted to. He decides to pit right now. And where will Bowman come out as the leader? That got tight with Clint Boyer there for a second. But remember, Bowman was in 2nd. And he was 14 seconds back. Yeah, we're gaining a ton of time on him with those fresh tires. But now Bowman is going to have about 6 to 7 lap fresher tires than us. I think it'll make a difference for about the first 6-7 laps of his run, but then we'll just kind of even out after that point. He's about 21 seconds off the lead. And of course, we don't know if we're going to get another caution or not. We've had one this entire race. But that has been it. We have cycled through as the leader. Byron, Harvick, and Jones all pit that last lap, so they all pit at the same time. Oh, a little brush off the wall off of turn 7 there. Gotta be alright here. 22 seconds ahead, 13 to go. I know we're on a little bit older tires, but if we hit our marks, we should be fine. Just gotta be very smart to the end of this race. If we get a caution, again, they're gonna be on 6 to 7 lap fresher tires. That's gonna make for a heck of a battle to the finish of the race, but we'll just have to see how this is gonna play out. Still got some of the lap cars on pit road currently. We got a little heavier lap traffic up ahead once again. But when we look at the points, oh, Menard blocking us off, but I think he's coming to pit road. Yep, him and Austin Dillon still had to hit pit road yet. 12 to go. Trying to go 2 for 2 on the road course races this season. Both races started from the pole. Looks like we're going to lead the lap in both, lead the most laps in both of them as well. Bowman has caught up a little bit, only about 1.5 seconds in the last 2 laps. Compared to how far back he is, he's not pacing very well to try and get back into this. And will likely need a caution before the end of the race. But again, I still think we've only got the one driver who has DNF so far, and that is Jamie McMurray. I don't think anybody else has DNF'd at this point in the race. Hence why we only have the one yellow in this one. A little wide through turn 6, but you can see Newman's on fresher tires obviously too. Not sure exactly what position he's in right now, but it goes to show how hard it is for us just to run him down even. $11 to go. Looks like we're going to set a record for the shortest race length on the season. Again, 1 hour and 51 minutes was the shortest race that we have done so far on this Cup Series season. And it was in the Coke Zero 400 earlier this week. So 1 hour and 51 minutes there. We started this race at about 10:30, so we're not even quite at the 1.5 hour mark, and we only have 10 to go at the line this time. So again, this race just flew by here today. That's not saying it didn't wear me out though. We're not done yet. Got to run to the very end. So Newman is in 10th, 11 drivers currently 1 lap down. Newman trying to hold on to the lead lap spot again. Remember, he was somewhat on the bubble, only 33 points above the cut line coming into this race. Johnson, the first driver below the cut line. Newman has obviously scored stage points here today, at least in stage 1. And it looks like he might get a top 10 finish because the 11th place car is nowhere to be found right now on the racetrack. Jimmy Johnson obviously has been running just outside the top 20 pretty much all day. Very disappointing after having a great top 10 run at Pocono to close the gap on Almirola and Newman. Newman had a DNF at Pocono as well. That kind of costed him a little bit of time in the point standings. We get closer and closer to the finish here. Still getting through the traffic a little bit better because Bowman is still losing ground on us despite having about 6 to 7 lap fresher tires. Caution's going to hurt us quite a bit, but if we stay green to the end, it's just smooth sailing here from this point. 9 to go. It's like Kyle Busch in 9th place here just ahead, and there's Jimmy Johnson rather, in between Kyle Busch and Ryan Newman up ahead. Johnson in danger of possibly going 2 laps down now. Newman right in our way, holding us off, trying to stay on the lead lap. Newman being Newman. Oh man, almost came together there, and now we got Johnson still in front of us. Very tight moment through the lap traffic. Newman tries to hold on, very tough to go side by side through the bus stop. A little contact now. And out of the outside of Jimmy. Johnson in 20th. He is now 2 laps down. And now only 9 drivers on the lead lap, but Kyle Busch isn't too much further ahead of us. A half a minute lead on Bowman. He's just in turn 5 right now as we're about to go into turn 1. Not sure when the next full race live stream is coming up as far as this Cup Series season goes. It might be a few days, I'm not entirely sure yet, but that weekly schedule for next video, or next week, that video should be coming up either tonight or tomorrow as usual, because of the way I work the weeks on here Monday through Sunday as far as the streaming schedule goes, so be on the lookout for that. Of course, hit the subscribe button for more daily NASCAR content such as full race videos and live streams just like this with a realistic commentary. Hit the like button if you have enjoyed this race up to this point. Have I missed or passed the bus stop? No, I've hit the bus stop pretty much every time. Or, not pretty much, I have hit the bus stop every time. I missed turn 1 once earlier in the race. I pounded the wall pretty hard head on back in stage 2 when I was battling for the lead with Alex Bowman on a restart. And, yeah, it was just pretty stupid of me. I'm surprised I couldn't get the car to wind up in time. I knew I was going to slide the tires to go wide. Ended up in the wall head on. No caution came out. Missed out on stage points, and obviously, despite winning stage 1, had a rough stage 2 because of that. Alex Bowman won the second stage of the race, and here we are right now leading the end of this one. We can make it on fuel easily to the finish. Tires, no issue. Just hoping we stay green, at least to the white flag at this point in the race. Heavy lap traffic just in front of us again, but we have 6 to go. We're getting closer to the finish. Not going to take it 3 wide on Kyle Busch there. Going to take it easy. A little loose on the curb there for a second. We're all right. Now trying to get around Austin Dillon. Big run coming on the 18. Ooh, this is going to get tight to the outside. Oh, contact there with Paul Menard. And we're going to back off. Again, we're taking it easy. We'll get around these guys eventually, but we've got a big lead to work with. Lap cars are not making it any easier on us. Five laps to go at the line this time. 8 drivers now on the lead lap at the end of this race. Fairly dominant race for the most part. A little bit of a hiccup about halfway through, but we have ran pretty well. Only missing turn 1 that one time. No penalties in this race today for missing that bus stop chicane. In fact, that has probably been my best cornering throughout the course of this race today, where I've gained the most time on the racetrack. They usually get through the chicane here. Oh, man! Oh, hard into the outside wall. No penalty, though. We're going to keep that streak alive. Oh, my goodness. Cut it Right when I was talking, we cut it way too short there. Wow. I didn't even think that was possible for me. We're alright, we didn't hurt the car too much. My goodness, that did scare me a little bit, but... Alright. Let's reel it back in again. 4 laps to go at the line. We have not done anything like that all day today, let me tell you. Four to go. We do have quite a few lap cars in front of us, but I don't know when we're exactly going to catch them. Kyle Busch starting to reel us back in. We might have quite a bit of damage on the right side of our car, but again, we're all right if we stay green. Caution comes out at this point. We are going to overtime. We are not going to get to the end of the scheduled length with a caution this late in the race. Which originally was supposed to be 90 laps. There we go, rolling back through the bus stop about as perfect as we could once again. Caught BJ McLeod right at the end of it though, into turn 5. Now he's going to slow us down. Very heavy lap traffic coming up next lap, probably going into turn 1 if I had to guess. Again, we've got a 37-second lead. We're just going to take it easy here. No need to have to rush to get through these corners. 3 laps to go at the line. Looks like Chase Elliott, Denny Hamlin in the mix up here. They're in danger of going a lap down before the end of this one. Very tight there. Trying to get around Daniel Suarez. See if we can get around him before we get into the bus stop. He should probably let us go. Yeah, for the most part he let us go there. It wasn't too bad. The inside of Cody Ware. Not giving us a ton of room. We'll get on by. It's like another huge group of lap cars ahead of this small group of 4 as well. Side by side for position, Hamlin and Elliott. Kurt Busch in the mix as well. So we get to the inside going into this next corner now. Looks like we're going to put Denny Hamlin a lap down. Kurt Busch will go a lap down. 2 laps to go. Just got to get back to the white flag. Big run here on the back of Chase Elliott, who's been the king at Watkins Glen the last couple of seasons. Not today. Has ran fairly well inside the top 10, but not like Elliott would here at this track in years past. So he'll go a lap down before we get into the bus stop, and that's probably going to be the last driver we'll put a lap down today. So we got quite a ways before we catch Harvick yet. He's still about another 13 seconds or so ahead of us. So close to getting to the white flag, into turn number 6. A 34-second lead on Alex Bowman. Very close to the wall off of turn 7, able to stay in the gas though. White flag in the air, 1 lap to go at Watkins Glen. Ryan Blaney looking to pick up another 5 playoff points with a win here today. Add on to the regular season total, as we are very close to clinching the regular season title. We got a car blowing up in front of us on the final lap. Caution will fly. Luckily we got to the final lap. We are very lucky we got to the white flag, to say the least. So the checker flag will wave. Ryan Blaney gets another win on the season. Fortunately, we can't do a burnout because of the caution on the final lap. No, we can't. Okay. I didn't think that was an option. All right. Yeah, we'll take this into turn 1 where we got more room. So another win on the season. Right where I hit the wall earlier. There we go. Victory here today. We finished under regulation despite the fact the caution came out on the final lap of the race. I didn't know what time we started, so the race in elapsed time will go 98 minutes, so an hour and 38 minutes from start to finish. By far the shortest race we have had this season so far today. We did not finish a lap ahead of Alex Bowman. It averaged it out on the last lap. 5 drivers finished on the lead lap here by the end of this race today, with your top 10 looking like that. Blaney first, Bowman second, William Byron comes into third, Eric Jones sneaks into fourth, Harvick back to fifth, Chase Elliott sixth, Kurt Busch seventh, eighth was Denny Hamlin, Kyle Busch ninth, and Ryan Newman rounding out the top 10 here today. The playoff bubble, Almirola finished 12th, and Jimmy Johnson finishes 20th, unfortunately. That is going to cost him a lot of points here today. So you look there, Eric Almirola still the final driver in on points. Johnson now tied with Kyle Larson for 16th, but because DiBenedetto 21st in points, won at Martinsville this year, he's going to be in the playoffs, so that's why Almirola is the last driver in on points right now. Newman not too far ahead of Eric as well, so still somewhat tight there, but Almirola pulls 30 points ahead of the playoff bubble at the end of this one. So as we got the win today, we ran the fastest lap of 107.520. We led 64 of the 90 laps led today. Again, winning stage 1. Bowman won stage 2 and finished runner-up in this one. Eric Jones is on the move, started 24th, finished 4th. He had a pretty fast car. And Jamie McMurray blew an engine back in stage 1. Despite starting second, tough finish to his day, finishing last in 40th. Again, that is it. For more daily NASCAR content, hit the subscribe button down below. If you like full races, we got full race live streams on the daily here with a realistic broadcast. We got another race coming up today on the hardest season on NASCAR video game history coming up later on. We're going to have the second race of the year at Atlanta. Hope to see you guys then. Not sure on the start time on that one, but be on the lookout. Hit the bell notification so you guys don't miss a future upload. And hit the like button if you enjoyed the race. The commentary of the video in general here today. I will see you guys later today, and have a good one.